Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm in the New Holland TN70. If the videos are posted in order, you'll see that we've got a new door. $500 door. On the tractor. I still got to button a few things up. But the door's on. The clutch, it's an interesting thing. The clutch will not slip. It holds really good. So we'll see how that works out. I don't know. But this afternoon, it's Friday, August 28th, 2020. And didn't have a lot to do this afternoon. We're in a break and picking corn. I will spray tomorrow. I would spray today, but we're waiting on the remnants of the Hurricane Laura to move through north of us, but we're still expecting some weather off of it. Our biggest concern with that is wind. We've got 6.5, 7 acres of corn yet to pick, and we've got about 3 acres of that is will be ready Monday. So once it gets that full ear on that stalk, there's a lot more weight there. So that's a concern. A very valid concern. But so far the wind has been relatively light. But the forecast, it's not for it to be that bad, but we'll see. It's I mean, there's just a slight breeze right now, but anyhow, there's not been a lot of videos lately, and the only reason for that is I have been picking corn or spraying every day, and you know, that's how many times do you guys want to watch me spray? But anyhow, heard something. We one thing I haven't done also is replied to comments. So what I'm going to do is I try to reply to comments, but sometimes I don't get around to them. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through here and try to reply to some comments. So let's see what we got here. Someone asked about the melons. The melons actually are doing pretty good. The problem is the deer have eat the melons up. It's it's not going to be good. So let's see. Moving on down. Picking corn. Hopefully making money. Clutch don't help that. Speaking of the rock pile, how is the melons doing? I kind of get the feeling they aren't doing very well. They're, like I said, they done good. The deer loved them. Yeah, I feel you on the mechanic work. I made a living as a mechanic, and when I was cutting timber, I was also chief mechanic on that crew. I just despise it anymore. Question on, this is an old video, but putting down plastic mulch for vegetables. How do you give fertilizer to the vegetables? We broadcast our fertilizer on all our crops. If it's on plastic, we run the drip line underneath, drip irrigation, and we use water soluble fertilizer and drip it in, fertigate it. So, you know, that's how we fertilize them. Here's a good one. Talking about the door. They sent the right door. You just have the wrong tractor. Hang in there. Yeah, that may be the case. So, there's a comment we'll skip. Here's a question in another old video, how to manually trip Ford 101 plows. It's asking about the John Deere plow. In that video, I talked about drilling that plow out and putting a shear bolt in it. And it said, if you do that, will it still trip? Well, what I would do if I do drill that plow out is I'll put a very small, probably a 1/4 inch, maybe even an 1/8 inch bolt in it to start with, and see how that does. And if it trips too much, if it shears too much, then I'll just ream the hole out and put a bigger bolt and step up from that. So thanks for that question. That's a good question. Talking about sweet corn, likes when the plan works out. Pretty soon you'll be talking about seeing the light at the tunnel. Yes, end of October, 2 more months, so we can see it. We hope it's not a train. On the lift arm seal repair, question was, how do you get the bushing out? I took a hammer and a punch and drove it out. I replaced that bushing. That's one thing. If you replace these lift arm seals on these tractors, buy the kit with the bushing in it, because it just makes more sense. Replace the bushing. Probably what kills the seal is the fact that the bushings wore out, letting the shaft move around. Local produce auction here in New York, 60 dozen bins sold for $4.50 a dozen last Friday. That's talking about sweet corn. Sweet corn prices have been strong this year. You won't be able to give it away next year, probably. Here's one. Glad to see you back from my trip to Oklahoma. How do you keep the corn from going through a heat when you have it in watermelon containers? Do you have a cool place stored at night? Yes, we put it in a cooler, and a lot of times we'll top ice it if it's real hot. As that ice melts, it keeps it hydrated and helps cool it, remove the field heat from it. The plastic bins work real good for that. Same repair on the lift arm. Guy commented, very interesting to hear you talk about the crop farming and mechanical things going on, but someone needs to turn the faucet off before they flood the whole farm. Tractors and all. Yeah. We have been known to get carried away and leave the water running. Here's a guy talking about, someone talking about, I do not like the New Holland much. Prefers Massey Ferguson. Green Boy at Georgia Farms. Time to go green, my man. Maybe. I will say, and this is honest, I never liked the John Deere implements. We ran John Deere logging equipment. It was okay. The way we tractor logged in these mountains and hills, we were rough on equipment, so it didn't really matter what brand we were going to break it. We ran John Deere dozer and a John Deere skidder. We run a Komatsu track hole excavator. But I never liked John Deere farm tractors. Talked bad about them all the time until I bought one. And you know, we've had this discussion before. Whatever tractor you like, it's the old Ford Chevy argument. Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, so forth, so on. North, south, east, west, hot, cold. Way I look at it, anyone that spends their money on a tractor that they like, that's them. You know, and I like this New Holland. It's nothing major has happened to this New Holland. I mean, other than the clutch. It's been a good tractor. Good power. Runs good. I put 1,500 hours on it. Pretty handy tractor. Don't use oil. But the little bitty things are getting on my nerves. There's a comment from Sharpie Smith. Best color tractor is one that's dependable all the time and does the job it needs to. A piece of equipment you can't depend on is almost worthless. I would agree with that. Comment on how to hook up moldboard plows. Good information. A comment from Douglas MacArthur. Okay. 750 bushels all picked by hand. Impressive. We've picked at this point. Let me do some quick math. We've picked about 1700 bushel now. And we've picked it all by hand. So, early morning spraying pumpkin patch. Do you spray lithium? Not usually. I do sometimes. When I spray the pumpkins, my primary function is to keep the fungus, downy mildew, powdery mildew, alternaria, pythium, some of those things off of them, as well as I'm trying to keep squash bugs, cucumber beetles, and geez Louise, it'll come to me in a minute. Some other insects off of it. Here's a guy talking about never trade a New Holland for a John Deere. Once again, we're into that old argument. Clutches wear out occasionally, glass gets broken. I've used brand new green tractors with yellow wheels, and I've had problems, and know of others green tractors with yellow wheels that also have issues. As what to buy, I have no idea, because you search the internet, most tractors these days have issues. I'll tell you the tractor I want. And I want a John Deere 5425 cab, manual front wheel assist with a loader, low hours. Those things are ridiculously expensive. Someone's got one sitting around that ain't doing nothing, wants to loan it to me for a few months, give me a call. That's the tractor I want. But like I said, we'll see. If this one doesn't give any trouble, I'll keep it till it dies. Comment on corn. Honey Select bringing $7 a dozen in West Virginia. Corn has been high this year. Not only do you have a beautiful farm, but you can farm it. Thanks for the compliment. I appreciate that. Here's a guy, Brother Dave. I'd be interested in buying the New Holland if you want to sell it. Good friend of mine's named Dave. I call him Brother Dave. Not the same guy. You never know. Man, that was a crazy week. Thank goodness. What's next, for goodness sake? Earthquake. We had an earthquake in Western North Carolina. Friend of mine, Mr. Wayne Forbes, go Orange. Maybe. You never know. Question about having blue tractors. Kevin Stinson, been a rough year here too. Guy commenting on planting sweet corn, planted his 36 inches apart, done real good. Talking about timing of sweet corn. If you can get it to market before the 1st of July, sweet corn will do good. And that's true almost every year. If you can beat Independence Day holiday with sweet corn, you will probably do good, no matter where you're at. Here's a guy commenting on the John Deere 5205. I want to know where I got the canopy. I got it from John Deere, a meat dealership. Actually, I got it for Christmas. My wife bought it for me for Christmas, but she got it from a meat dealership, which is primary John Deere dealers in our area. Your comment, T4020 is leaking on both sides. Thanks for the video. You're welcome. I hope you learned something. Here is probably a spam comment. 9-year-old recommended. It's so boring. You know, farming may be boring for a lot of folks, and that's quite all right. But if you sit down to eat tonight, don't get too bored. Greg Schultz, thank you for your food. Good job. Comment about I'm looking mainly for questions. Talk about the cattle trailer. Bought the cattle trailer off a friend. I knew he's owned the trailer twice, and another folks I know owned it in between that. And I knew the trailer's history. I knew what had been done to it. Trailer's pretty good shape. Here's a real grower talking about tomatoes, cucumbers, squash make the most money for them. All those are good, valuable crops. Yes, it is good to have orders lined up. Are you planning on picking the whole crop by hand, or are you going to use the Oxbow picker this year? Is the Oxbow worth the money? We may use the Oxbow if we have to. If we get in a bind, get behind on picking, I may hook the Oxbow up and clean the field up. Is the Oxbow worth the money? I didn't buy the Oxbow. Oxbow does not belong to me. It belongs to the local co-op. They do a daily rental. If you are a sizable enough operation, it probably would be. You're still going to have to do hand labor to sort that corn. Okay, here's a comment. Talking about spraying herbicides in the strawberries. And the comment is, you don't think those poisons get into the strawberries and people wind up eating poison. No. And I run into this occasionally, both in person and online. I read a quote one time that said, farming is the art of working 400 hours a month, going broke, trying to feed people who think you're trying to kill them. I'll leave it at that. Research. If you have questions about any farm chemical, research it. And I'm not talking about internet research, actual factual research that's been replicated, data, so forth, so on. I will not go down that wormhole tonight. Green Boy at Georgia Farms. I tried to sell sweet corn this year and just could not move the corn this year. Nobody really needed it. Instead, they would rather buy from out of state or out of country. It's a shame, too, because I have a bumper crop. Watermelons are the same way. I'm done with trucking produce. Cows is where I'm going. I'll probably grow field corn for feed, but as far as me trying this again, count me out. I took a big loss, but hey, good for you and your family, man. I'm glad somebody is doing good on sweet corn this year. I don't know what part of Georgia, I'm assuming Georgia Farms. I don't know what part of Georgia they're located in. That surprises me somewhat, because sweet corn from the beginning of the season, produce starts in Florida, moves up the eastern seaboard, has been high all year, and the demand's strong. I think they hit on the trucking produce, trying to sell, and I don't know their operation or nothing like that. That's common in farming. We get the shaft on a regular basis, and I hate that for you, because really and truly throughout the southeast, for the most part, sweet corn's been pretty strong this year. As far as watermelons, I don't know. I'm not familiar with them. I grew a patch this year. The deer loved them. But I hate that, and dadgummit, we run into that all the time. It's I feel your pain. 3-4 years ago, I bush hogged a beautiful patch of sweet corn down. Couldn't give it away. So yeah, I've been there. Crazy. Question: approximately how many years in a bushel? 48. Okay, it's gonna be the last one. We tossed around the idea of growing sweet corn, chopping it once it's picked for our cattle. I tossed around the same idea. I'm actually in the market for a 1-row silage chopper. Found one, New Holland dealership. Closest to me has one online. Here's the deal with chopping sweet corn. You're not going to get much of a yield off of it. There's not as much foliage there. But on the flip side, I'm going to bush hog that down, incorporate it back into the soil. So I'm going to get some benefit from that organic material in my next year's crop. Probably not enough, not a whole lot, but I will get some. I'm kicking around the same idea because it is a feed source. It's a good feed source to feed. So I may do some of that myself. Now that I'm to the point that I'm closing in on 20 acres of sweet corn, I don't know what kind of tonnage of silage I would get off of that. But I would love to give it a try. I know where I think I know where a 1-row chopper's at that I may try to borrow. And let's see what I get. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video. Try to get some of the comments. I didn't get through all of them. I'll try to reply. Bear with me. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe. If you are subscribed and you do watch, thank you for taking time out of your day to see what we're up to. I appreciate it. If you see a video you like, give it a thumbs up. And if you have a question or comment, please do so. I will try to answer them. So until next time, we're going back to spraying and picking. We'll spray tomorrow once this weather moves through. And then we'll go back to picking Monday. We'll talk to you guys later.